Welcome everyone to SightCall Sessions. SightCall Sessions is a conversation focused on enterprise service, topics, trends, and technology. And today we are fortunate enough to have Justin O'Brien, VP of Sales for existing customers at none other than NICE, the largest and one of the greatest, in my opinion, CCaaS platforms out there. And we also have Fred with us, who is our EVP at SightCall for sales and partnerships. And we're really excited to have you, Justin.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the introduction. You make me feel very, very important. As I tell most people when I introduce myself, as you know, David, I introduce myself as simply a high functioning idiot. So I say that to caution all of your viewers who are tuning in that I'm just a nobody trying to tell anybody about the awesome stuff that's going on in the world of CCaaS and specifically in the world of customer experience transformation, which you guys, of course, are a major part of.
Well, thanks, Justin. Well, let's get started with some questions. First question for you. Could you tell us about your role at NICE and your journey in the customer experience industry?
So my current role within the organization, as you indicated, I work with existing customers. So NICE has been around since 1986. By nature of being around as long as we have, we've had the good fortune of accumulating a very large customer base. So a little over 7,000 customers globally. Here in North America, we have roughly about 5,500 customers across a wide range of different vertical markets. My solution account management team works directly with the existing customer base on consolidation and transformation and expansion initiatives. So this is a really exciting time for my team because there's been so much innovation in the space, and NICE has been a key player in a lot of that innovation. We have more product that we can go to the market than ever before. And the good news is we're not just going to the market with product, but those products have really great solutions, and the way in which they're integrated into the platform, we're in a position like never before where we can really take that customer from where their initial need event is, whether that be they need to make an appointment, they need to file a warranty claim, whatever it may be. And that need event may start with a telephone call. It might start with a chat message. It might start with a lookup on Facebook. It might start with a Google search. Wherever that need event begins, NICE has the ability to reach there and help that journey orchestration all the way through to ensure that we get the desired outcome, that our customers are ultimately looking for. I got started off in this industry as a dumb salesperson. And I can't say I've gotten much smarter, but literally, guys, I was an actor. I still am an actor by trade, and I had the opportunity to seek a real job, and that real job landed me at a call recording and quality monitoring company. And they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I said I just want to be a dad. They proceeded to have a conversation with me that sounded like Charlie Brown. Before you knew it, I had a job there. And, 3 days later, I was having a conversation with this gal shortly after I had just had a conversation with my wife, whose name is Crystal. The gal I'm speaking to, her name is Crystal. And at the conclusion of the telephone call, I told her I loved her. It was just by habit. I immediately hung up the phone. Everybody started laughing at me inside the boiler room, so to speak. They told me I should call her back or it would be a fireable offense. So I call her back and I said, hey, I'm so sorry. I told you I love you. I'm sure I would love you. I just made a complete idiot of myself. A week later, I sold the largest deal that the company had ever sold. And I realized that, wow, sales is really easy if you just are yourself, right? Because people buy from people ultimately at the end of the day. So that was the start of my journey. And then it's been a fun, one step after the other. So I've been with NICE for a little over 13 years now.
Well, that's quite the journey. So as a leader in product marketing at SightCall, NICE comes to the top a lot, right? As a leader in the CCaaS space. So from your perspective, Justin, what sets NICE apart in the competitive CCaaS market?
Put me on the spot here, David. I'm sure all my competitors are probably watching this and they're looking for the secret sauce and, everything along those lines.
It could just be you, Justin. You could be the differentiator.
It could be me. I'll give like the top line kind of corporate answer, and then I'll give you kind of my personal belief. Top line corporate answer is NICE has never been shy of pushing the envelope. We push the envelope with our own internal development. We have a massive product house, as you guys have become very familiar with. A lot of the technologies that we now see used by our competitors started with us, right? We were the first to go ahead and go to market, and then everybody else is playing catch up. So I think that there is an aspect of consumers always looking at partnering with the innovator rather than the dinosaur. And so we've always been an innovator. So we've innovated in-house, but also because we've been around so long and because we've been under such stellar leadership for such a significant period of time, we built up some brand equity, which is also really, really awesome. We're very recognizable in the industry. And gosh, when you have your choice between three things that look the same, I'm going to choose the one that's probably not going to get me fired because everybody recognizes and understands what it is. And then last but not least, right, we've done a really good job of leaning in and filling our gaps with partners like yourselves. Being able to identify what is that next big frontier, what are our customers saying they're looking for? And rather than us just saying we don't offer it, go somewhere else, right? We seek out those best in breed products, and we seek to have a partnership, not just a partnership that we can sell your stuff on our paper, but ensure that it truly is a partnership, and 1 + 1 is better than 2, right? You have that true, synergy aspect. And, we have those willing partners like SightCall. We're able to go ahead and fully integrate into our platform. So it feels like it is a unified platform, which is ultimately everybody's end goal, right? So that would be my corporate response. The other response I would go ahead and I would say to that, at the end of the day, people buy from people. Customer care is the only sustainable competitive advantage, and you buy from people that you feel really comfortable with.
To that point, Justin, I can add my 2 cents, right? Why NICE is so great today. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody can see that you are both very charming, but very humble as well. But I've been lucky to work closely with you during a campaign lately, and I can see that you're not only charming and articulate and humble, you're also very efficient when it comes to execution, right? And as you say, people buy from people. And I think the rest of the company at NICE is working your way, right? It can explain why you are so successful in the market for sure.
Oh, stop! So keep it coming. Stop! Keep it coming. You're really, really wonderful. But really is a joy. I think in order to excel, not just at NICE, but really to excel in this industry, customer care really does have to be something that you're passionate about. One of my first quote unquote real jobs was at a company called Subway, Eat Fresh, right? I was a sandwich artist, and the franchise owner, one day told me, did you know that a sandwich tastes better if the customer has a smile on their face? And that was like my first introduction to this idea of customer care, and customer care is the only sustainable competitive advantage, right? If you're constantly leaning into improving the customer experience, it compounds on top of each other. And it's been something I've always been passionate about. So to come to an organization like this, that's the central focus, right? Creating frictionless customer experiences and improving that customer experience from where you are to the next day. Like I'm excited about it because I too am a consumer, right? I want good customer service, and I want people to have good customer service. And I'm working at a company that, we have the ability to go ahead and deliver those tools that help enable that. So hopefully that shines through.
It does. Justin, I have 2 questions for you, if you don't mind. You already touched upon the fact that NICE is working with partners like SightCall, right? So could you explain to our viewers why it is so important for NICE to have a strong partner ecosystem first?
Sure.
And why, we are a Dev 1 partner, right? So you might explain to our viewer what it means, but as the VP sales of existing customers, why it is so important for you to work with Dev 1 partners like SightCall?
Sure. Yeah, I touched on it briefly a moment ago. As much as we innovate, and as much as we invest in product development, and as much as we invest in acquisition of technology, the needs and the wants of our consumers, and more importantly, our consumers are immense. And so we always have to go ahead and identify how do we fill that gap as quickly as possible? But how do we fill that gap as quickly as possible with the best possible outcome? And we are humble enough to recognize that we could fill that gap, but that second component of filling it the best way possible, putting the best product forward, might not be with our own internal resources, or might not be with an acquisition. It might be through partnership. We do limit our partnerships. We are a little bit different than some of our competitors inside the space. So you mentioned, our Dev1 program. SightCall is one of just a handful, right? I can count on two hands the number of individuals who have qualified to be a part of that Dev1 program. We have a marketplace that have, more than those 10, but those aren't strategic alliances. And that's not me saying anything bad about those particular, products, but a Dev1 partner such as SightCall is, hey, we see a strategic opportunity to partner and to advance our mutual interests of contact center dominance, right? Customer experience transformation, dominance. But SightCall, you guys have been absolutely wonderful. You threw some kudos onto me, not too long ago. So, I'll go ahead and I'll throw them back. I've seen visualization products in the past, and if somebody went to our website today, they might go ahead and identify a couple other, people that claim to do exactly what you guys do. And everybody has their strengths and everybody has their weaknesses. But when I first saw the demo that you did for our team, David, of not only showing visualization, but being able to show the ability to, do measurements and scan barcodes and everything along those lines, my brain had that quick moment of, as a seller, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. This is wonderful. I can sell a bunch of this. But it quickly actually shifted into the consumer experience of being, oh my gosh, how many calls have I been on recently where I wished the customer or the company I was speaking to had SightCall available to me to use, so I can show the other person on the other line exactly what I was looking at to go ahead and expedite the process to create that frictionless customer experience. So you guys have been absolutely, absolutely wonderful. You guys have created a fantastic product, and you guys have an unbelievable, go-to-market approach. And, that's kudos to both of you guys there.
Well, thanks
Thank
for
you,
that,
Justin.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll get on customer service calls too, and sometimes at any given moment, I'll say, "Have you heard of SightCall? Y'all should really look into this." Because I'm trying to get something fixed in my house, and I just can't. I can't get the help that I need. I said, if you could just see what I see right now, or if I could just send you the code for the warranty of my machine and scan it, this would be a lot easier than me reading a label off right now. So I definitely feel that often. I'm curious, Justin, another question in terms of customers, and you've kind of alluded to this in the way that expectations have evolved. And I'm curious what you're seeing today with customer expectations, and how NICE is meeting those expectations with technology, whether that's digital or even visual types of interactions for customers.
Yeah, I don't think I'm releasing any crazy trade secrets when I say that, today's consumer, and all three of us fall into that bucket of consumerism. We want what we want, when we want it, how we want it. Don't tell me I can't have it the way I want it, when I want it, how I want it. The days of business operating hours being Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. are long gone. The days of only offering a consumer, a 1-800 number to go ahead and resolve their issues are gone. And on the flip side, the days or the idea of I'm going to defer everybody into self-service and not have a 1-800 number instead, those days are gone too. At the end of the day, there are going to be scenarios in which our customer's expectation is, I want to self-serve. And self-serve might be, I simply want to go to your website and I want to be able to find the answers I'm looking for. Self-serve might be, okay, instead of sitting in line for 5 minutes waiting for a live agent, I'll just speak to an IBA and go ahead and resolve it here. But at the same aspect, there may be times where, okay, I just need to speak to somebody because I want some empathy and I need some sympathy. I need to have that emotional contact, right? And that needs to be available to me as soon as I have that need event. If it's 9 p.m. in the evening, I need to be able to have those options. I can't wait until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Oh, by the way, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning is when I'm dropping my daughter off at school. And then immediately I'm going to work and I'm in meetings back to back to back to back. So yeah, when I want it, how I want it, where I want it, on my terms, right? I mean, that is the demand, right? Inside the contact center, which is why we do need to, partner with organizations, such as yourselves, because again, for me, again, no trade secrets here. I think creating a frictionless customer experience is the key to creating a customer care competitive advantage. There should never be a moment on a telephone call where I do have that thought of, man, if you could just see what I'm talking about right now, Fred, this conversation would have been done 2.5 minutes ago. Fred, on the other side, as the agent, who I also consider a customer of ours, oh my God, this person is such an idiot. That is not the barcode. That is not the barcode. That's not the number I'm looking for, right? If only I could see what this idiot Justin was looking at, we could have resolved this call 3 minutes ago, right? So when I want it, how I want it, on my terms, and ensuring that there's no friction in that entirety of that process is great. I gave one example of how you guys can help remove that friction. The other thing I really like about your guys' solution, which is meeting that level of expectation with our customers, is I may, when I want, how I want it, start a conversation in an IVA, a digital IVA. And then I do need to elevate to an agent for whatever reason, for whatever person. Maybe it's internal processes and procedures with the company that, okay, we've gotten to a point where we do need to put a live agent on for compliance purposes or whatever it may be. But that visualization capability or anything that I've done with that visualization shouldn't be lost then and stuck within the IVA, right? I should then be able to carry that experience. If I started the ABCs and I've got the J, right? And now I'm speaking to David as a live agent. David should be able to see, right, everything that I've already captured in that customer experience and with the visualization, and it should assist David, right, not hinder David. And more importantly, ensure that Justin doesn't have to start over at A again, right? And your tool blends perfectly into our solution and enables that. Or conversely, conversation starts with live agent David. Justin, I now need to go ahead and drop my daughter off at 8 a.m. Like I said, there's some photos and there's some various different things that I need to go ahead and capture, right? David should be able to go ahead and send, a link to Justin to be able to go ahead and capture those things when he wants, on his terms, how he wants it, and then be able to elevate that back to David and be able to resume the conversation, right? Asynchronously, either via the digital channel or, on a scheduled telephone call. So sorry, long rambling answer. I can talk about our partnership and the cool things that we're doing, for days here, but again, frictionless customer experiences, how I want it, when I want it, and allow me to go ahead and move across. Let me change my mind about how I want it as frequently as I want it, while you're serving me.
That's great. I think you mentioned things like IVA, you mentioned self-serve, you mentioned this agent-guided experience. I'm curious, do you see the role of AI evolving even further in customer service and contact centers over the next few years? And where do you even see it going with the visual components? I mean, I think about expectations, right? And I can go on to ChatGPT 4.0 right now, and this AI can create images for me. It can answer all my questions. However, I know that that's information from the internet. And at SightCall, we have customers that have very specific knowledge bases. They have very specific ways of answering questions that they wouldn't have ChatGPT, OpenAI do it all for them and use the internet and combine those data sources. It's interesting because as a consumer, I'm expecting that experience, but I also know, as someone who provides AI solutions and who understands some of this architecture, well, that experience is very unique in that it is a fully consumable experience that I have with ChatGPT that is powered by the internet, right? It's powered by all of that information. So, and there's possibilities of hallucinations in there. I mean, some of the images that thing will generate are pretty ridiculous. Let me let me tell you, it gets them wrong sometimes.
Yeah, no, topic du jour. Absolutely, 100%. I would say, daily conversation times 5, right? With, our customer base. We know that AI is here. AI will be here forever. And now it's just a matter of how do we ultimately incorporate it in the business day to day? And how do we do it in a compliant manner, in a safe manner that aligns with our company's desired business goals and outcomes? I'm actually speaking at an event at the end of September where we're exploring just the conceptual differences between what I refer to as AI, artificial intelligence, which is the displacement of real intelligence. And then there's augmented intelligence, right? I'm trying to create this new, buzzword around AI. Really like the idea of augmented intelligence, right? Coming along and supporting an agent in a journey or supporting, a customer in the journey. I love ChatGPT in large part because ChatGPT has opened up every consumer's mind to the possibility of incorporating AI into their business. I also like ChatGPT because enough of us have used it, including my own customers, right, in their own personal day-to-day life, where they can see the sheer volume of hallucination and craziness that potentially happens if you don't have the right guardrails in place, right? So ChatGPT by itself isn't smart enough. It is artificial intelligence. It's attempting to replicate intelligence, right? That's the very definition of artificial. So it still needs guidance. It still needs parameters. It still needs, guide, the various different guardrails that are in place. Every one of my competitors is approaching it a little bit differently. We've been ahead of the game, right? We started this journey back in 2016, with building out our large language models and things of that nature. Everything that we have built has been contact center, CX specific. So that has been beneficial to us. And I won't get too geeky talk here, but the other key aspect of what we're doing organizationally, and we identified this very, very early on, is okay, we need to point it at something that is unique to the consumer who is using it. So ABC company decides that they want to deploy artificial intelligence. ABC company sells a propeller widget as an example. Okay. Well, if I'm engaging with the IVA, whether it's a digital chatbot or whether it's a voice IVA, I need it to act and I need it to respond to the questions that are asked to it in the same way that an agent for that company would do that. So first and foremost, we need to mine and we need to identify all of the agent interactions that are happening today. What are the steps that those live agents are doing every single day to go ahead and resolve, right? So now we're building out a different type of model, an outcome model, right? That the IVA can now work in terms of parameters. Great, I understand the intent. I've seen 175 of these intents today handled by David Smith. This is how David Smith, an exemplary agent who has got our desired outcome, handles this. This is how he responds to it, et cetera. More importantly, these are the places that David goes to get the information to go ahead and leverage it. Now, I'm simplifying this a little bit here, but ultimately the guardrails that NICE has put into place in terms of AI and conversational, deployment of AI is really around the knowledge base. So what we do is we go ahead and we hook into the knowledge articles. In many cases, we go ahead and we consume all those knowledge articles. They can be in SharePoint, they can be in Salesforce, they can be in Zendesk, right? I mean, there's a slew of all of these different places, and most companies have a multitude of different things. We have the ability to go ahead and consume all of those knowledge articles into a product that we refer to as Expert. And then it's that data, right? It's that information that the IVA is limited to pulling from. So if it doesn't exist in a knowledge article, I can't produce a result. Okay. So I'm not going to be crawling the World Wide Web and pulling some information from one of my competitors' websites to go ahead and tell you what the best product in the market is. I'm only going to be going to my knowledge articles to tell you what the best product is. Okay. How do I think it's going to continue to evolve? I think we're just touched the tip of the surface. Like, there's this idea of IVAs. I think IVAs are cool. I think there's a level of consumer adoption, like people are still suspect of maybe engaging with that. More importantly, I talked about sympathy and empathy. I think there's an element of it where It's kind of like when people contact centers started to sending things offshore. Maybe like there's this immediate perception of like, okay, now they sent it offshore. This company's cheap. They don't care about me. And I think we're experiencing a little bit of that now. Where it's just like, man, everything I'm talking to is a chatbot. Like this company's cheap. They don't care about customer care. I mean, it's just the deployment mechanism of how we're doing AI right now. Where I really like the deployment of AI is in an agent assist mode. An organization that currently has a 10-minute telephone call right now, we can start to explore maybe why that's a 10-minute telephone call. Well, when you start to dissect that 10-minute telephone call, you identify that 3 minutes of that is that agent is hunting and pecking for the right knowledge article and trying to comprehend the knowledge article to then regurgitate that information back, to the consumer. In addition to 3 minutes of that 10-minute telephone call just being that aspect of it, there's another minute and a half in which they are, dispositioning and taking notes, that is elongating the telephone call. So you start thinking about all of these different manual tasks, right? Hunting and packing tasks, that these individuals are having to do. We begin to identify why the call is long. Now imagine a world in which the AI is understanding the intent and already in advance grabbing that knowledge article, presenting it back down to the agent, not just presenting the knowledge article, but also formulating a response that they can then give the consumer, right? I'm immediately taking 3 minutes out of the telephone call just by doing that. Suddenly in that agent assist mode, you start to wonder yourself, man, I took a 10-minute telephone call down to 6 minutes or down to 4 minutes. From a CIO standpoint, from a CFO standpoint, I was really interested in turning that 10-minute telephone call into a self-service IVA bot because it was a 10-minute telephone call at 40 cents a pop or 40 cents a minute. But now it's only a 5-minute call, or now it's only a 6-minute call. Does it really have the same value anymore? And oh, by the way, I got the best possible outcome out of that telephone call because I spoke to a live agent. They were sympathetic, they were empathetic, they were engaged, they heard me, right? There's no suspect, in there and everything. So I really like it from an IVA standpoint. Sorry, I'm getting long with this particular answer, but the other area that I'm really excited about AI getting deployed at in the contact center space is really from a supervisor, from a leadership standpoint. So many contact centers right now, they have a contact center solution. It might be a Frankenstein stack. It might be a single suite solution. It's got NICE, it's got SightCall, it's got all these different types of, all these tools have some really great reporting mechanisms and things along those lines. In some cases, they've got unified performance management dashboards. I mean, it's, everybody's trying to solve for the same thing. But now I'm inside that board meeting and somebody goes ahead and says, all right, what was the number one topic this week? And how did it influence our NPS score, positively or negatively? Man, I wasn't prepared for that. Give me a minute. I got to go ahead and run reports. That might be 4 or 5 different reports. In this new world of AI, right? And specifically with NICE, we have a product called Actions. I have the ability to actually engage in the data conversationally. I could literally just ask that exact question to the data, right? And the system now is my AI assistant is able to go ahead and look across all these various different data silos and report back to me the result and provide me the visualization associated with it and everything along those lines. Meanwhile, the guardrails are my own data. It's not looking at anywhere else. It's looking specifically at the data that I'm pointing at. So I think that is a really cool, fun evolution of the product, which is, hey, the consumer is going to see some benefit. The agent's going to see some benefit, right? And I think that's where most people are leaning into. But man, now the business is going to be able to make some really quick decisions, right? Things that might have been multiple different boardroom meetings, multiple different report iterations can now potentially be done on the fly. And a lot of that stuff might be able to be incorporated immediately into, new quality programs, new call flows, new digital engagement strategies, new marketing campaigns, et cetera, et cetera.
Justin, we discuss AI at length, and as you said, that's certainly the topic du jour for your customers, right? But you are managing 2,500 customers, if I recall it correctly. Besides AI, what else is topic du jour? What are they concerned? What are they implementing? Are they implementing IVA? What's the second topic du jour amongst all of your existing customers?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because we AI has almost just become like a giant bucket And within that bucket, there's a multitude of different things. And so now when somebody says, I'm interested in AI, you really have to ask some clarifying questions as to what does that mean for them. Um, Frederick, I wish I could go ahead and tell you that there is one particular product or one particular thing of interest right now. I would say my customers that are in, specific verticals, do have a specific need. And I think you guys are seeing, some of this through our partnership right now. There's a large mattress supplier. I'll leave it at that, right? That came to us with a recent use case around a warranty claim. They've on their website, they've got a multitude of different videos of showcasing to their consumer, how they need to take out a ruler, how they need to go ahead and measure, a particular, maybe a lump in the mattress or a gap in the mattress or something along those lines. And then there's a 5-step process in which they go to the website and they upload these images and everything along those lines. And then it's a lengthy process. There's an example within that particular vertical, where they understand, they recognize, hey, this is time consuming. It's also creating friction for our customers because there's a multitude of different steps they have to follow. Can you solve it? Right. And SightCall absolutely can go ahead and solve that, type of solution for us. So yeah, different for every group. I mean, obviously IVAs are super, super important, but again, to just say IVA, again, is become a more general term. Great. What do you want to accomplish? What's the business outcome, with your IVA? Some people are just frequently asked questions. And then others are, I want my IVA to literally act and work like an agent. Great. Yeah. So, I need to open up a warranty claim. Okay. An agent would go ahead and ask for that video, that photo, that whatever. I need the IVA to be able to go ahead and do that. I need the IVA to be able to go ahead and do biometrics or some sort of, authentication, right? To ensure that I'm actually speaking to Frederick and not, Justin Frederick, right? Fake Frederick. Wish I had a better answer for you. Everything, which is why NICE is so great, because we offer everything.
Yeah. I think, we as a company at SightCall, I mean, in terms of customer experience, agent experience, what you were describing earlier, also with the business experience, I'm thinking of this kind of Venn diagram, right? Where they're all overlapping at a certain point. And to me, AI is expanding that scope where it's like, oh, agents are doing one thing, customers have expectations you can't really meet all the time, and the business has expectations. But as you start to expand the scope of AI and really harness valuable data from all of those three groups, you can really hone in on this overlap. And that's that sweet spot. And from your description of IVA is even there, it's like, okay, how do you build the journey, right? The journey that incorporates asking for the right question, asking the right questions, the right data, the right visual context at the right time to solve a problem that's going to bring value to the business and bring value to customers and even to an agent, getting them the right context to solve the problem immediately once they have an interaction, right? So, I mean, at SightCall, we think a lot about visual context, and the data around that. And I'm curious, is that becoming, in your opinion, a kind of green field? Is this where we're going? Are we going to start collecting visual data as a way to solve problems? Do you envision an AI that's going to start solving problems by saying, hey, I see that picture and I can tell you exactly what to do now?
Short answer, yes. Obviously, the reason I'm on this telephone call is I believe that, truly and through every ounce of my being, and why I'm going to continue to go ahead and lean into this partnership with you folks. I just think of, to me, there are stair steps that happen in technology. I think most people that are on your podcast right now are probably very familiar with something called Google Lens. Which is just something that slowly but surely has infiltrated our lives in the Google search, capabilities. So now as a consumer, I'm not sure if I'm any different than you guys. I was at, Wally World the other day. You guys can, make some assumptions as to what superstore that was. And I was doing some price shopping, right? And I wanted some reviews. Those things didn't exist. Obviously, they're in the aisle. And I was able to take out my Google lens, right? Just go to the Google browser, go ahead and click on it, click on the product. And lo and behold, I was able to find the information, that I was looking for. Because those things begin to work itself into our day-to-day lives, knowingly or maybe even unknowingly, all of a sudden our consumer expectations begin to change as well. And so now we are in these moments and we are in these times and we see, the trend continuing. You're going to have your early adopters, but then the mass is going to follow. I think we're just getting past that early adopter phase with visualization in the IVA and visualization in the traditional contact center consumer experience. I think the mass market is at that point now where, the expectation is going to be that I shouldn't have to flip over this router, squint my eyeballs to read out this 19 number code for you. First of all, I can't even read it. Like, I'm 42 years old. I think I have good eyesight, but it's black on black. I don't know who designed this stupid product, but I can't read it. Meanwhile, I'm on the phone with you trying to take care of this, right? Like, I wish I could just scan it, right? And so again, creating that frictionless experience, your tools that you're having right now are going to be a key component of that. There's no other way to solve for that, right? Like you need to have the bridge, right? So yes, AI can then take the information and then do something with it, right? But the information first. The traditional channel of voice and SMS, I mean, that's the boat. But now we need the sail, we need the other, aspects of it, and visualization is a key component of the ship, right? To go ahead and get that customer through the journey that they're looking for. Hopefully that makes sense.
Definitely speaking my language, Justin.
All right, good.
So maybe kind of to wrap it up, I mean, I think what our audience would like to hear from you is what kind of advice would you give customer service organizations that are hesitant to adopt new technologies like AI, like visual support? What are the steps that they need to be taking right now to ensure their competitive advantage, but they're still wary, right?
First and foremost, obviously, you have to do your due diligence. Everybody does, quote unquote, AI today. You have to understand, are they really doing AI? Case in point, we all thought that Amazon had come up with this really cool shopping experience where you can walk in and you can grab your groceries and you can walk out the door, and it was all free, right? AI was tracking your face and it turns out it was offshore, right? It was all vaporware, right? And the technology may exist in the not so distant future, but I do believe that there are a lot of people touting AI right now, that it's vaporware, and there's some other things that might be going on behind the scenes. So going with, an organization who's tried, true, tested, actually has the case studies, actually has the customers that you can go ahead and speak to, I think is critically important. Beyond that, customer care is the only sustainable competitive advantage. Are you thinking about an AI strategy that is focused on your desired business outcome or your customer's desired business outcome? This is a conversation I have to have a lot with my own customers. We have a lot of people who go, wow, look at what AI is doing. Look what conversational AI is doing. Look at what generative AI is doing. There's no reason why I can't put all of my customers now into a chatbot and I can give them all their answers that they want. Question: do you have a chatbot? Do you have a chat function at all today on your website? And if you do, how many people are even bothering clicking on it, right? And then on top of it, is that what your customers are asking for? Have you solicited feedback from your customers? Is that specifically what they're looking for today? And if the answer is yes, then great. You need to go ahead. You need to pursue that. If the answer is no, but I'm going to force them into it because it's going to save my company money, you may have the exact opposite outcome that you're currently seeking, because human nature is, I don't want to do something that I don't want to do. I don't want to be forced down a path. I'm going to go back to customer expectations. I want what I want, how I want it, when I want it. If you're now telling me that the only way to engage with your business is through this bot, you've frustrated me, you've irritated me. I don't want to do business with you anymore. Okay. And then more importantly, if I go down that path and it doesn't give me the resolution that I'm looking for, do you have a path to give me the resolution that I'm looking for? And is it more effort or less effort now that I went through this first path that you forced me down? Okay. So we want to create frictionless customer experiences. We have a tendency to think AI, IVA is that frictionless experience every customer is looking for. It may be, but if I deploy a disparate, siloed solution and I'm not able to be contained there, and now I need to elevate to an agent and I have to start the conversation all over again, I've just created friction. I've created more effort. It's actually become more costly for my business, right? On two different levels, because I got an upset customer and I paid for an IVA solution that didn't contain them. And oh, by the way, it didn't shorten the average handling time either. So the labor costs didn't go down, right? My cost to actually serve that customer went up. So steps to be taken. Make sure that you do the due diligence, as it relates to your vendor, but make sure you do the due diligence in terms of what the business outcome is, and really have to question yourself, is this for the customer or is it for the business? If it's for the customer, you're always going to be right. It's going to be the right decision. If it's strictly for the business, then you might want to rethink that approach.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, Justin, for your time as well, Fred. I think this was a really insightful discussion. Justin bringing a lot to the table here from your perspective with NICE. So thanks again. I think there's a lot that we can do to add to that customer experience and add to that whole customer care and journey narrative.
I appreciate you guys. You guys are fantastic.
Thank you, Justin. You too.